Good evening, film fans. I'm Latangela Faye, and this is the Louisiana Film Channel's Wednesday Night at the Movies. The Louisiana Film Channel is a new entertainment service, officially launching December 1st. Louisiana Film Channel will be available on all devices and showcasing Louisiana films, filmmakers, and our unique lifestyles. If you're a filmmaker, you can submit your titles by clicking Content Partner on our homepage. For Louisiana lovers across the globe, you can download the app starting December 1st and experience everything Louisiana, from gators to Mardi Gras, the music, food, and culture. Now here's my co-host, Taylor Sharp, with a sci-fi mystery entitled Alienated from Sandy Parker.
All right, thanks, Latangela. We are joined now by Sandy Parker, writer and director of the film Alienated. Sandy, welcome to the Louisiana Film Channel.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Okay, now your film Alienated sounds a little sci-fi to me. Would that be accurate? What can a viewer expect from this?
It's possibly a little bit sci-fi-ish. What I like to think of is that I'm in the vein of the old Twilight Zone episodes. It's always little twists at the end.
Okay, I like it. I like a film that makes me think. Was this your first short film?
No, this was my third short film, my second narrative short.
Okay, so you've had a little bit of experience with the short films now. Tell me a little bit about the filmmaking process. What went into making this film in particular?
Well, I got really lucky. I entered the script into a contest that the Cool Cooperative was doing. And if you're not familiar, the Cool Cooperative is a nonprofit that provides mentorship to kids in high school, at-risk kids in high school and junior high or middle school, and teaches them about the film industry so that they're not only giving them after-school activities, but they're also giving them information that they can use to help them get a job when they get out of school. So they have a contest every year, screenplay contest, and the winner gets to have their film produced by the Cool Cooperative. And the children who participate in the program get to try out for the acting parts if they want to, and they can help with other parts like other jobs such as sound and props, things like that. So it's a great experience, hands-on, for these kids.
Yeah. Where was this film shot? Did you have to move locations a lot, or did you just focus on one central area?
We had one day where we filmed outdoors at one location, and luckily that was a short day because it was June and it was very hot outside. The other day we shot mostly indoors. And then we had one very quick scene outside, which was supposed to be at night. We actually shot it outside of Buffa's restaurant in a patch of gravel that's about 5 feet by 5 feet. We shot it at about 5 o'clock in the evening, but we built a tent over it and put sort of like blackout shades around it so that we could make it look like nighttime and light it the way we wanted to. We didn't want to keep a teenager, a minor, over the certain number of hours and not be able to give her the right number of hours turnaround time before her early call time in the morning. So these are union rules we were abiding by.
Okay, Sandy, you've definitely got me interested. I can't wait to give this film a watch. Here it comes right now. Let's check it out. This is Alienated.
I knew I shouldn't be out so late, but I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I wanted to run, but I couldn't see. I couldn't move my legs. After that, I don't know what happened. I woke up in my bed, and I don't even remember how I got there. I can't remember anything except that light. It felt like eyes looking into me. But these dreams I've been having, I think they're memories. I think they're real. Everybody acted like I was crazy. I guess they're sorry now.
Sometimes things happen that we didn't choose, but those experiences don't have to define us.
It's not like I'm the only one.
I know. I have several other patients that are struggling with this.
I can't help thinking that they targeted me because I'm not like them. They see me as different.
This is something that we all grapple with in this day and age.
That's why I feel guilty.
Why guilty?
For taking up your time every week talking about my emotions when other people in the world are starving or locked up. Sometimes people disappear and no one ever knows what happened to them.
Look, we're not here to discuss other people's problems. We're here to focus on you. It's 1 hour every week when you get to speak openly, and I give you permission to be as selfish as you need to be.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
They all look the same to me. But I feel like when they're looking at me, they can see right into my brain. And I don't think they like me very much.
Do you want them to like you?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. It's hard when I see them everywhere I go. Even at school. I just think it's unfair.
I feel that way too sometimes.
I just want things to be like they were before.
You need to accept the fact that life may never go back to the way it was. But you can find peace with the way things are now.
Your 2 o'clock is here.
Thank you. You need to give yourself credit for the progress you made. Okay? Come on, I'll walk you out. And look, everything's gonna be fine. Okay? Just keep your head down.
Food line number 12 is now open. Ladies and gentlemen, it's important that you eat or you'll die. Line up now. Today's flavor is blue. Food line number 12 is now open. Ladies and gentlemen, it's important that you eat or you'll die. Line up now. Come on.
Do you need assistance? You know the rules. I'll have to take that.
Join the conversation now, live on Twitter. Meet the cast and get the details on Louisiana Film Channel swag. Twitter alert now at hashtag LA Film Channel. Welcome back, movie lovers. I'm Latangela Faye, and this is Wednesday Night at the Movies, presented by the Louisiana Film Channel. What a great show we've had so far. And now, settle in with your favorite movie snack, and let's pick up where we left off before the break.
Welcome back. We are joined once again by Sandy Parker. Sandy, very interesting film. I definitely see the Twilight Zone theme you were getting at. Kept me on my toes the entire time. At the beginning, when she's looking at her bike at nighttime, I'm thinking, okay, she's gonna get taken, she's gonna get abducted, maybe even killed. I had no idea what was going on. Then you shift to her talking to a therapist about the weird dreams that she had been having. I really liked the way you did that because I really couldn't figure out what was happening, whether it was in her imagination or not, because after she leaves that therapist, futuristic stuff starts happening. It looks like aliens are taking people, and I couldn't decide if that was her imagination or if it was actually happening. It felt a little up for interpretation, in my opinion. Is that what you wanted? Did you want the viewer to kind of take their own view of the whole movie?
What I wanted was, at the beginning, I wanted people to think she was being bullied or maybe experiencing maybe racial discrimination or sexism, something like that. And then when she leaves, I purposely had uplifting music as we see her feet descending the stairs coming out of that office. So you think, hey, everything's going to get better. Then she walks by this poster with a giant cheeseburger, which was intentionally jaunty looking, cheerful looking, but it's alien propaganda because I wanted it to slowly dawn on the viewer in a slow reveal that actually the experiences that she was relating to her therapist were about the fact that she'd been abducted by aliens and no one believed her. But then there was an alien invasion on the planet, and now everybody knows, but she can't really feel the satisfaction of being vindicated because she's having to live under the oppression too.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It really made me think because I couldn't really figure out what was going to happen until the very end. And I typically love films like that. The poster you mentioned, the future has landed. I love that because that was kind of the moment it clicked for me. That was like, okay, this is probably about an alien invasion or an abduction or something like that. And then she's walking down the street, people are being taken, and then she's kind of calm about the whole situation. Like, I've had so many dreams about this, I kind of expected it. Was that what you were getting at with that?
I was kind of thinking about that whole line of keep your head down. Some people are being arrested. Some people are giving warning looks to each other. Some people are just they're like, uh-oh, I don't want that trouble to touch me. And they hurry away. And these are different ways that we go into our survival instincts when we're faced with a danger.
Well,
it can
Sandy,
be a lot of different ways.
I thought it was effective. I enjoyed it. It kept me entertained. I was interested in the film the entire time. I thought you did a great job on it. It was shot well. It was written well. I can't wait to see what you do in the future, and hopefully we can get you back on again soon.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Thank you for joining us today, Sandy.
Thanks.
Join the conversation now, live on Twitter. Meet the cast and get the details on Louisiana Film Channel swag. Twitter alert now at #LAFilmChannel. I hope you're enjoying our Wednesday night at the movies. I'm Latangela Faye, and each week here on the Louisiana Film Channel, we have a special called Hollywood on the Bayou, produced by our friend and mentor, Ed Poole. I can't wait to see what exciting part of Louisiana film history he has for us this week. Take it away, Ed.
Thanks, Latangela. You may not recognize us in these masks. These are not for our current pandemic, but for this episode, we go back 102 years.
When Louisiana was part of another pandemic at the end of World War I.
What?
What? Let's take these masks off.
Okay. The time was 1918, and Louisiana was in the middle of another pandemic that infected more than 350,000 people in the state.
Silent film star Theda Bara wanted to make a film set in the war in Paris and with the Red Cross, but that was impossible at that time. So instead, she took her crew down here to New Orleans.
It was mainly because New Orleans was the only city that had French quarters that looked like Paris.
And even though bars, restaurants, and major facilities were closed due to the pandemic, Bara had enough clout to make her movie here anyway.
For this episode, we flash back to 1918 for the film The Light. In the fall of 1918, just weeks before the ending of World War I, silent film star Theda Bara came to New Orleans to film scenes for her photoplay, The Light. Bara was one of the most popular actresses and sex symbols of the time, playing primarily the role of a femme fatale. Bara became known as the Vamp. In the film, Bara starred as a notorious Parisian vamp known as the wickedest woman in Paris. After tiring of this lifestyle, she decides to become a Red Cross nurse and serve France during World War I. Her past, however, barred this from happening as she was rejected each time she applied. She ultimately redeemed herself by nursing a blinded soldier who once was a famous artist who sought her for his model. The film also starred Eugene Ormond, Robert Walker, George Renovant, and Florence Martin. It was directed by J. Gordon Edwards. International location shooting at the time was rare. The studio had previously planned to build a Parisian set in New York City, but abandoned that plan because of the wartime shortage of carpenters. Instead, the production company came to New Orleans because it was more like Paris than any other American city. At the time the film crew arrived, a global pandemic, which had originated in Europe during the war, had made its way into Louisiana. On October the 9th, 1918, authorities ordered the closure of all schools and businesses, banned public gatherings, and isolated and quarantined those affected. Face masks were a requirement. This, however, did not stop the production. Bara proved to be a stickler for detail. Walter Parker, the general manager of the Association of Commerce, was tasked with making all the location arrangements necessary to stage her picture. Bara's first demand was for a facility to represent a French hospital. The U.S. Shipping Board building in the French Quarter became the perfect French hospital with the addition of French and Red Cross flags. Next, the film needed a Red Cross ambulance, but all of them were in use. When a modified police car was suggested, Bara insisted that would be grotesque, even to the untrained eye of a movie fan. Fortunately, the Red Cross was finally able to provide one for filming. Bara's next request was for a Victoria, a four-wheel pleasure carriage designed for two passengers with a raised seat in front for a driver. Parker located an undertaker who rented Victorias. He then had to locate horses to draw the carriage, which he found at a local brewery. During her stay in New Orleans, Bara and her sister Lori visited the convalescing soldiers from Jackson Barracks who were hospitalized at the Southern Yacht Club. There she went among 30 soldiers, speaking words of cheer and comfort, passing out cigarettes, and autographing photos with no thought of her personal danger. She turned down the flu mask and shook hands with all the men. She sat on the edges of the cots of those men who were too weak to rise. Unfortunately, during the visit, Lori, her sister, contracted the flu. Her sister's illness would cause Bera to miss one of the film's most pivotal scenes. Set against the backdrop of the old French opera house, the film called for Bera to be shown driving a speeding car through the streets of Paris during an air raid by the Germans. A French officer was in the back seat operating an anti-aircraft gun, shooting down Zeppelins from the air. When time came to shoot the scene, Bera refused to leave their apartment at the St. Charles, fearing her sister might grow worse during her absence. When Bera informed her director that she would be unable to work, she suggested Yvonne Ross, a member of the local Red Cross Emergency Corps, be used in the scene in her place. Lori recovered shortly thereafter. The Light was released on January the 12th, 1919 to much fanfare. The studio offered a wide variety of advertising aids to support the campaign. Sadly, like most other silent films, very little is still available and is considered a lost film. In 2010, while researching a Louisiana poster that we had acquired for our collection, we realized there was almost no documentation on the thousands of films that had been made here since 1898. That's when the first production company came to Louisiana. As collectors of Louisiana movie posters for over 40 years, Sue and I decided to use our personal collection to go on a quest to bring awareness to this problem. Since that time, we've written 6 books on Louisiana film history, recreated over 90 classic Louisiana film prints, given dozens of presentations and exhibits around the state. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Louisiana Film History Flashback. If you're interested in acquiring any of our material, want more information on our projects, or want to know how you can help us in this fight to preserve our film history, go to our website, Hollywood on the Bayou. We thank you and see you next time.
Join the conversation now, live on Twitter. Meet the cast and get the details on Louisiana Film Channel swag. Twitter alert now at hashtag LA Film Channel.
All right, this is episode 4, the second film, The Vanishing, take 1, action.
Hi, and welcome back. I'm Latangela Faye, and this is the Louisiana Film Channel's Wednesday Night at the Movies. The Louisiana Film Channel is a new entertainment service officially launching December 1st. Louisiana Film Channel will be available on all devices and showcasing Louisiana films, filmmakers, and our unique lifestyles. If you're a filmmaker, you can submit your titles by clicking Content Partner on our homepage. For Louisiana lovers across the globe, you can download the app starting December 1st and experience everything Louisiana, from gators to Mardi Gras, the music, food, and culture. Now here's my co-host Taylor Sharp with an important film titled The Vanishing from Shana Fincher.
Thanks, Latangela. We are joined now by Miss Shana Fincher, the executive producer of The Vanishing. Miss Shana, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, filmmaking is very complex. What made you want to get into filmmaking?
I've been working on sets for about 9 years now as a background actor and a stand-in. And I've been very interested in the filmmaking process and being on set and just being part of that energy.
Okay, now, was this your first professional film, or have you had previous films?
Yes, this was our first film.
Okay, and how long did a project like this take to put together for your first film?
Well, the 48-hour film project is a very unique project. It's produced by Bill Rainey here in New Orleans, and it's a super fun, super stressful experience. You have 48 hours to write the film the film, edit the film, and turn it in. So the only thing you're allowed to do in advance is to come up with locations and maybe think of some storylines. So we started writing the film Friday night. Friday night, you get the genre. You don't even know your genre until you go into the film project and you pick a genre out of the fishbowl.
So you're telling me this entire project, you only had 48 hours to do. Did you sleep at all during those 48 hours?
Actually, we're one of the few teams that sleeps. We've been together for 2 years as a complete team, and since Alex Salazar is a professional, he can really knock it out. But I have been on 48-hour teams before where no, there is no sleep.
And you mentioned you are assigned a genre. You guys did not get to pick the genre for this film, is that correct?
No, you're assigned a genre Friday night, and we had a few storylines. Me and Tony Beard, the producer, we were wanting to get into writing, and we were bouncing off a lot of writing ideas, but you're not allowed to write the film before Friday night. And so we just had some storyline ideas for different genres. And we picked sci-fi, and we just threw it together as quickly as we can. Alex Salazar, actually, since we're so new at this, Alex Salazar, who's the second AD that we met on sets, was gracious enough to join our team. Thank God. We really wouldn't have known what to do as far as screenwriting or directing without him. And we were so lucky to get him. And then he took the storyline. He picked Tony's Beard storyline. That's the one he liked. And we were given one night to write that film. And Alex Salazar was the scriptwriter and basically put the whole storyline into script form and did the shot list. And the next day we spent about 8 to 10 hours shooting the film. So we actually wrapped kind of early and got a good night's sleep compared to other teams I have been on in the past.
Okay, and without giving away any spoilers, staying on the topic of genre, the title The Vanishing has a spooky element to it. What can viewers expect from this film?
Well, it is sci-fi, and we clouded it in a little bit of mystery, as they will see. And The Vanishing has to do with kind of like a science fiction occurrence, that is kind of a futuristic feel to it.
Okay, well, The Vanishing, interesting title. I'm ready to check this film out, see what it's all about. Let's bring it to you right now, The Vanishing.
This message is transmitted at the request of the United States Office of Civil Defense at 3:40 p.m.
Spying on me?
Please. Don't shoot. It seems like I lost my way. All I wanted was some food and water.
Get out.
Bless you, ma'am.
Did you find anything useful?
Nothing.
So what do we do with her?
Just kill her.
Wait, you don't actually have to kill her, right? She's out here all alone.
And where would the fun be in that? Give me your weapon. Larry Chetta.
Really?
Holy Mother Mary, pray for me. Saint Joseph, pray for me. Lord, carry me to your kingdom and reunite me with my son. Holy Mary, pray for me. Holy Mary, pray for me. Saint Joseph, pray for me. Lord, carry me to your kingdom and reunite me with my son. I'll be there soon, Beetlebug. 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 What are you doing, Beetlebug? You having fun? Beetlebug.
Did y'all hear about the disappearances? All over the world, they're saying.
Hello.
There are 2 moons. Everything's going crazy.
Did you hear about the riots in Pittsburgh?
Beetlebug. Beetlebug. Mom. Mom.
Drop him. Now.
What are you doing? You're betraying your family?
She is my family.
You disappeared, son. Forever. I looked for you so much.
Here now.
Let's go inside.
Join the conversation now, live on Twitter. Meet the cast and get the details on Louisiana Film Channel swag. Twitter alert now at hashtag LA Film Channel. Welcome back, movie lovers. I'm Latangela Faye, and this is Wednesday Night at the Movies, presented by the Louisiana Film Channel. What a great show we've had so far. And now, settle in with your favorite movie snack, and let's pick up where we left off before the break.
We are back once again with Shanna Fincher, executive producer of The Vanishing. Miss Shanna, I just got done watching the film. A lot of interesting things I noticed. What stood out to me the most was the background music and all the natural sound you used. Did you use that particular, natural sound and music to evoke a particular emotion? What went behind doing all that?
Well, yeah, the sound was definitely an element of producing the feel. And Alex Salazar was picking that and putting that together. And our editor was David Tandy, better known as Skinny. We also see him on sets. He's been in the electrical department in different sets, but he joined our team as the editor, and him and Alex put all of the editing together and all of the sound together and the special effects. We were nominated for 10 awards at the 48 Hour Film Fest, and we actually won special effects, and that was done by Alex and David. And that was one of the awards that we won. The other award we won was Best Female Actor for Jill's portrayal of the mother in the film.
Yeah, you mentioned all the shooting. Interesting piece of property that this was shot on, a rather secluded rural area. Where was this filmed at?
Well, that was another big blessing for our team. All the stars just aligned for this film. We have a friend that we also do films with named Kayla Yeager, and her family is from Kentwood, Louisiana. So we scouted out some locations beforehand, and one of the locations we scouted out was they have a lot of property with this fabulous, you didn't see it in the film, but there's this fabulous encampment with all of these interesting things on it because her father collects wood and coral and just this fabulous huge encampment of his projects. And behind the encampment was this old rustic cabin that was just the perfect setting for the film.
Yeah, I love the concept for this film. I love the location. Did you kind of want this film to be up for interpretation, or did you just not have enough time? I really would have liked to have seen like how the son went missing, who the people he were with, why the 2 moons, because you mentioned the 2 moons. Was it because of time constraints, or did you want this to be kind of an up for interpretation type film?
Yes, it was absolutely a conscious decision to make it mysterious and up for interpretation. And the 2 moons was the director's choice for giving it that sci-fi feel. We really had to make sure it came across as sci-fi as part of our genre. So Ron Patterson played the male character who was the missing boy. The missing boy was Xander Macon, and he was another actor friend of our son, and we thought, well, he looks like Ron, so let's put that together. And we just wanted to be originally we had an idea for him to disappear off of a bicycle, and we couldn't figure out how to do it in our time constraints. And so we just had him kind of go behind a tree and disappear. And one of our required elements, 48 Hour, you get 3 required elements. Well, one of our required elements was a character named Larry or Lorraine Chetta, and he had to be a spy. So Herbert Pierre Cavaliera played our spy, who was Larry Chetta, and that was 2 of the required elements. The other required element was the corkscrew, so that's why Jordan Smith, who played the gang leader, pulled out the corkscrew. And our other required element was the line, really. So all of those 3 things you have to put in your film. Every year it changes. And so we had to put those in our film as part of the 48-hour film project fun and requirement.
So not only do you only have 48 hours, you have to meet a ton of requirements.
Yes.
It was challenging, but you guys pulled it off. The film was interesting. It had my attention the whole time. What is next for Shanna Fincher, the filmmaker?
Well, we made another 48-hour film. called The Risk We Take. And we didn't get as many nominations. We got 10 nominations for The Vanishing. We came second runner-up for Best Film and runner-up for Audience Favorite. We won Special Effects. The second film we didn't get nominated for quite as many awards, but me and Tony Beard are mainly interested in writing, and Alex is a professional director, and he has gone on to write and to make some short films. So we're waiting for a chance for us to all get together to work together again, because I think Alex and Tony and myself, we're going to stick together and do our own projects, but we're also doing projects on our own with other teams also.
Well, Miss Shanna, I enjoyed the film. A lot of interesting parts, kept me on my toes the entire time. I can't wait to see what else Let me start that over. Mason, we're going to start that last part over. Well, Miss Shanna, I enjoyed the film. It was very interesting. It kept me on my toes the whole time. I can't wait to see what you do in the future as a filmmaker. I appreciate you so much for stopping by, giving me your time. I enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. We enjoyed it.
Hope you're joining our conversation live on Twitter right now. We want you to comment on all of this. Now, each week here on the Louisiana Film Channel, we have a special called On Location. Here is On Location.
We're on location in Louisiana, right here in Baton Rouge along the banks of the mighty Mississippi River, where through the magic of motion pictures, the USS Kidd was placed back in active duty with none other than Tom Hanks at the helm. Projects like Greyhound start and finish with the Louisiana Film Office. Let's go talk to the man in charge, Chris Stelly.
Hi, Chris Stelly, Louisiana Economic Development. I'm Executive Group Director of Louisiana Entertainment. Well, at the time of the shutdown, Louisiana had roughly 14 projects in different states of production. We had some in prep, some in actual film was rolling. A few television series were really close to the end of their shooting cycle and their schedule when the shutdown occurred. Now we're starting to get calls, like we've gotten calls throughout the whole pandemic. We're getting calls more and more about where does the state stand? Is it okay to come back and film? What's the current situation? How does the governor's proclamation impact us? And so our message has always been that there's never been a prohibition against filming. As long as you follow what the governor has set forth and any additional local guidelines that may be in place, it's safe to come back. We recognize that this was probably going to be a little bit longer than 2 weeks, and so we went in to talk to industry, talk to producers, talk to the studios, talk to the MPA, talk to LaFia, and really gather information early on. Early on, the industry itself started working on what their safety protocols were going to be. What does a safe set look like? How can they return to work in a safe way? What does that entail? And they put out 2 documents, I think in early July, that were developed with the guidance of some very well-known epidemiologists. We kind of took the approach that, okay, let's see what the industry itself is going to recommend and then build upon that. By the time we released our document in August, we had a good understanding of what it would take to return to work safely. Of course, that includes testing if it's available and if you can test reliably. Face coverings, we're under a face covering mandate. Social distancing, disinfecting, working with a certain amount of distance between you, working in different groups. So we have 2 big projects here, one from Amazon, one from Netflix. And we anticipate that the projects that were here before, which includes NCIS New Orleans, which includes Your Honor, which is the Bryan Cranston series. They're looking at coming back to finish pretty soon. We have On Become a God in Central Florida was prepping prior to the industry-wide shutdown. Queen Sugar, Claws were filming. So we had a lot of things at the time that are looking to come back, amongst some other titles that just haven't fully determined yet where they're going to shoot. But we certainly have 2 things shooting here right now. During the pandemic, we did have a couple of unscripted projects shoot. There was, of course, the Harry Connick Jr. Salute to Heroes. That was a CBS project that came out, I think, in June or July. They shot, and we've had another unscripted project, Pit Bulls and Parolees.
That's it for this episode. Tune in next time for all things film on location in Louisiana.
Well, that's a wrap for this week's show. Watch for our app coming December 1st to all platforms, including Apple TV, Android, Chromecast, and more. And thank you for joining in on the Twitter alerts. I'm Latangela Faye for the Louisiana Film Channel. And thanks for joining me for this week's field trip. I'll see you on the red carpet.